Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everyone? I hope you all had a great weekend as usual. And if we have anyone in the live chat, could you let me know, again, as usual, if we are live, if the sound is good, so we can get right into the analysis. So I'll give you a couple of seconds just to make sure that everything is good. And if we have no live chat, then I think I'll just dive right into the analysis. So are we live? We should be live, yes. Okay, thank you, Martin or Martin, depending on, on where you're from. Nice to see you. Hello, Jean-Pierre, as well. It's good to see you as well. And I hope that you both had a great weekend. So as usual, we've had a pretty good week, and I think we have good setups coming through next week. But as usual, before we dive into what's happening right now and what I'm looking for next, let's recap what happened since last week. So last week I had one prediction, and that was we can add back the support. I'll show you the Discord, of course, but I had this support on the 12-hour and this resistance. And basically what I wanted to see was a bounce. So this was last Sunday. I told you I was in a long position and I had the hard stop loss below this low. So this was my long position. That was my entry. I had the hard stop loss below that low. And my final target was this resistance for the fill of the 4-hour imbalance. And as you can see, we got the bounce, we came into support, we got the rejection, we got our target for the short position, and this one actually broke down. So the plan didn't fully play out, but honestly it was a very good plan in my opinion. Very easy trades, very obvious levels, and well, I think now I can remove it. Remove these levels and quickly recap what happened inside the Discord. So again, if we go back to Monday, this was the prediction. So right there again, this can load. So this was the live again, that was the prediction. Bounce into resistance, drop to bounce back up for a new all-time high. And I had opened a long position, which was nicely in profits. Throughout the week, I took some profits, right? My first TP was right there, and my second TP was just before my resistance, and I had closed 50% of my position. So at this point, I could, I just chilled in my long position because you take profit, you move the stop loss to break even, and then of course you can just focus on shorts. This was Tuesday. Again, I was still focused on that resistance. This was the only level I was looking for, and well, it played out pretty nicely. We moved into it. Okay, so we moved into it. At first, I didn't take the short, so I think, yeah, so I hadn't shorted, yes. So in this case, I do want to outline my thought process because one, it did play out very nicely, and two, it is pretty important in my opinion for you to understand why I didn't take that short. So the reason for that was because when we moved into that resistance, if you see the time below, what I believed is that if we got the rejection there, which we did, we would have a very big wick. Now, this doesn't apply to every move, okay? This is very context dependent, and time is a skill that takes a bit of time to master, and even myself, I haven't fully mastered it. But in this case, I knew that if we got the rejection, the wick on the 1 hour would be too big. And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what I said in the Discord. That wick is just too big, okay? If you open the 1 hour, we had that wick. So the thought process was right. We had the big wick. We bounced back into it. So the right short to take, which I didn't take honestly, a bit of a mistake, but not a problem, was right there, okay? You retest the open of this candle right there. You have the rejections. You got the big rejection of my resistance. Again, you have the retest of the wick. Everything is looking good. This was the right short to take in my opinion. I didn't take this one, unfortunate, but again, the analysis was spot on. The wick was too big. We did reject our resistance, revisited the wick, and then went lower. So then I made up for that because on Thursday, I think that was. So when was that? This was Thursday, right? So I had just one level to the upside, if this can load, $108,900. Again, that was the only level I wanted to see a rejection. I did take the short, but I wasn't able to send a signal on the Discord because I didn't have an imbalance. Okay, guys, give me some slack. Like, I'm giving you every single level. Sometimes I like to trade on my own. But again, we had one level predicted to the dollar. We bounced right into it, and then someone did ask me in general, so I shared my chart. And as you can see, I had opened a short position right at the highs, and we got a very nice drop to the downside. I took profits on my short, and right now I am still sitting in this one. Okay, so enough yapping about what happened last week. Okay, I think that's enough. We all understood what happened. Support, resistance, we got the job, another resistance, another job, and this support got broken. So with that said, what can you expect next? Well, if you remember what I said last week, was that if we broke that support, okay, so if I just add it again, it was this hourly order block, okay, which by the way did actually offer to reaction, so it was still a good support. But what I said was that if we lost that support, it would be a bit of a sign of weakness in my opinion. So right now, as we lost it, even though we're seeing a bounce, I still hold that view. So what can we expect next? Well, I'm seeing a lot of people, of course, talk about the weekly close. And I think we can start to form a decent plan just around this, okay? So if you go on the 4-hour, we have the support that I shared previously, and I will be eyeing this week, $102,900. So ideally, what we get, in my opinion, is a bounce. So right now we are bouncing. I would like to see a bounce a bit higher into the weekly close, so into today's close, to get not a strong close, but like a less bearish close, okay? And when you get this right, if you get the close of this weekly candle somewhere around there, I think that it will make some bears and bulls iffy about this job, and they might be interested in longing the dips because this is not the most bearish close, okay? So this is the thought process behind the scenario that I will outline right now. It will be a bounce into weekly close, okay? So ideally, again, we bounce into weekly close. Doesn't really matter where we top out, but that's what I will look for. So it will be, again, bounce into the close, come back down. I want to finalize this 4-hour imbalance, and then ideally this happens on Monday, so tomorrow we get another bounce to the upside, okay? So this would be the first part of my plan. And then for the resistances, we have a new monthly pivot. Unfortunately, it didn't come lower. This would have been a nice conference to expect lower prices. So unfortunate that this monthly pivot didn't appear lower. So maybe somewhere around that low, that would have been perfect. But personally, I got my sign of weakness, so I would like to see a break back below this range. But the first plan, again, bounce into the close, drop tomorrow, Monday, and then we get the bounce. So for the resistance, if I go on the daily, nothing interesting. 12-hour, I don't know. Let me see, look at this. 4-hour. Okay, let me remove this. So if you mark out this level, this would be in confluence with these resistance, and support all the way there. That could be flipped into resistance. I don't think I love this level because it would be too obvious, okay? I think that a lot of people will be waiting for a retest of these range lows and then take a short position. So I would keep it in mind, but I want to put it in dash to outline it as a weaker resistance. So okay, this would be your weaker level. If you go on the 1 hour, can I find something else? I like this area. Okay. So the open of this candle and the bottom part of this imbalance. Actually, I want to remove this. Yeah, I think I'll remove this. Let me keep this. And this would be my first resistance. If we get a bigger bounce, right, to get a bigger trap, or maybe just a new all-time high, you know what? Like, I'm not, I don't really mind what happens next, but this would be my next resistance, I think. I'll just hide this for now, but I like to keep this on my chart. So your second resistance would be up there. Do we have confluence? 30 minutes. Okay, we have this one. That looks good. Okay. So again, by the way, guys, I'm doing all of this live with you, so I don't really form the plans in advance. I was aware of the monthly close, which is why I kind of had this first part. So my prediction for this week would be bounce into the close, drop into support, bounce back into resistance, and ideally from there you drop back down to take out all of the liquidity below these lows, okay? And if you bounce higher, so if you break that resistance, then I think that this bounce could turn into a bigger bounce, right? Fill all of the imbalances and then reject to the downside. So this would be your second resistance, which I think is a bit more unlikely to get reached, but this would be your first one, which I think will get reached pretty easily. And that's why if we can get the job tomorrow morning or just tomorrow or even on Tuesday, it doesn't matter. But if we get the drop into that level, you have the right volume, the right reaction. I think this can offer a long position for that bounce higher. Okay. So I hope that I haven't made everything too complicated. Okay, very simple. Let's do a recap. We lost my support level, which was right there. The reason that this is a bearish sign is because right now you got back too close to these lows. So right now it makes sense to expect price to clean up all of this liquidity, okay? And that's why you didn't want to lose this support level. I'm not a fan of this low, especially one, because it hasn't fully filled the 4 hour, and two, because it's a weekend low. So I would like to take it out again, hit my support, trap the people into a somewhat strong weekly close, get the job tomorrow, a strong bounce, trap even more people, and then reverse it to the downside. And for the supports below, look, I think that this uptrend is a bit fragile simply because we haven't had a lot of retracements. So if we got that drop, honestly, my first target would be $97,000. And if we lose this, I will update you on my other targets. But for now, that's it for Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, I've tried to make it simple. I hope that this is not too complicated. This is my prediction, right? One support, two resistances, and well, you will trade accordingly. At least that's what I will do. So I can hide this. Okay. And yeah, that's it. We can look at Ethereum. So when I look at Ethereum, this is one thing that gives me confluence. I think we have a pretty strong high. If I can just put the daily open. So we have a pretty strong high on Ethereum. It has failed to break that that resistance. And plus with that drop, now you have a lot of lows to clean up. So even more, okay? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 lows to clean up on Ethereum. So this kind of lines up well with Bitcoin, right? You could get that bounce, that drop. That would mean a drop for Bitcoin, probably into 102.6. And then possibly you get a bounce, right? Maybe to break that high, or maybe to follow Bitcoin, put in a lower high and then reverse lower, okay? So Ethereum, that's all I would note. If you're looking for support, we can go on the 1 hour, and I would mark out this order block, okay? Right there. At first, I marked the open of this candle, but as you have so much liquidity, I think that this could offer a bigger drop right now, okay? So one support on Ethereum below. Again, could follow Bitcoin, up, down, up, and then after this, you can see what happens. And that's it. I just want to take a look at some other altcoins to see if you had a bit of weakness. Solana is dropping towards the only level that I had outlined. Again, I would really like this daily to get filled. So another conference to expect at least one more drop on Bitcoin. XRP, again, double bottom, but this one, I don't really mind it. Litecoin, I don't know. I'm not looking at this one. Link, good support. Injective, I want to look at this coin. Oof, so we got a big break on this one. So I had a support there, as you can see, but of course, as Bitcoin dropped, this one just got broken. I don't know, I'm not getting the best signals from these altcoins. I think the two altcoins offering the best signals are Ethereum, you have a lot of lows, and Solana, you have a daily imbalance. Pepe, what happened to it? Pepe has hit support, so this was a support. And if anyone traded this level, okay, that's a nice 8% bounce on Pepe, right? I shared this level in the last live. Could make one more low or maybe a retest of that level, because I think this is a strong level on Pepe, okay? But again, Pepe is the only one that has hit a pretty strong level, and you have a 4-hour imbalance at the lows. And that is it, okay? I don't want to talk too much to not confuse you guys. Quick update on the stock market actually. If you go on the daily, it still has failed to close above this resistance that we shared 2 lives ago. So stock market, ideally, you go down to fill that gap, okay? So maybe bounce and go down to fill that gap, okay? And then you can see what happens, maybe another drop lower or a reversal higher. But the stock market, I am expecting a fill of this gap, okay? So pretty simple overall, okay? Again, I hope I haven't talked too much. I mean, I've kept it very simple on Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of that low. I would like one more low, but I want to see a bounce into the weekly close, which is happening. You can see that price is now getting a bit faster. And yeah, okay, I'm done. So, do you have any questions? Do you see any rationality? Do you see any rationality in Bitcoin bounces and drops? Well, of course, there's always rationality behind it. What Bitcoin does is, well, what it always does, very nice English, but it's just search for liquidity, okay? And that's why, again, what I said was that the break of this support is a bit more of a bearish sign, because now you can look for the liquidity below these lows, okay? So, of course, there's most of the time you have a lot of rationality behind moves in the markets. Thank you for the analysis. Unfortunately, I have to go. See you in the Discord. Okay, see you, Jean-Pierre. What do you think about CRV? Prone to move up towards 0.78. 0.78, you said? Yes. No, 0.738. So let's look at CRV. Again, I did have a level there, as you can see, but this got broken. I don't like this low. I really like this level because you can see it has been in this trend of low, deep higher low, deep higher low, deep higher low, deep higher low, and I thought that this could be another deep higher low for a bounce higher. Now with that drop, this one is just too deep. Okay, so probably CRV bounce and then continue lower. I really don't like this low on CRV. But what did you tell me? 0.738. 738. What do we have up there? 738. 738. Okay. So you can mark. Let me look at the daily. I think that's a good level, honestly, for CRV. Just don't have confidence on the... Actually, I think this is a good level. I like it. Just above your level, that would be 7.4. Oh, and we have an hourly imbalance. Okay, so I think this is a strong resistance, right? You leave this 4-hour unfilled. You come back towards these wicks that I'm not in love with. So CRV potentially bounce, okay, towards that resistance and then drops back down. So I think this is a nice level on CRV, okay? Do I like this low? I don't like it, so longing here could be a bit risky, okay? This just depends on your risk tolerance. But yes, of course, I mean, just like I said on Bitcoin, I would like to see a bit of a bounce before we continue lower. And then, of course, if we continue higher, we can go back to Bitcoin. If I'm wrong on my bearish bias and we do this, and then we just move up straight into a new all-time high, well, guess what? If we get that reaction and that long position, then we'll just hold it for a new all-time high, okay? So the bias in itself doesn't really matter, just like it didn't really matter last week. What matters are the support and resistance levels. So do we have any more questions? I think that should be it. How long's 18 minutes only? Okay, so we could keep this one a bit shorter in case anyone wants to look at that live later in the future. But if anyone has more questions, of course, I am open to it. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to see if anyone has any more questions. I can look, maybe it's something else. Kaito, what happened to Kaito actually? Oof. very deep lows on these coins. Very deep lows. You retested that wick. Kaito. Well, you have a nice order block up there on Kaito, I guess. Not really trading altcoins at this point in time because Bitcoin has been offering very nice trades. But Kaito, that's a nice level, honestly. Very nice level. So what? Let me remove this. Actually, this would be to the upside. 12, 4, 1, 4. So you have a nice resistance on Kaito. Plus you have that wick, which is super ugly. So again, Kaito, if anyone is interested, I don't know about trading these lows. Again, they're just super ugly lows. But if you get that bounce, I think this could offer very nice short position. I want to cover XRP one last time because, you know, I had this resistance for weeks pretty much, right? And this one got front run for a very big drop to the downside. So if by some like exceptional move we get we get a massive bounce on XRP, I still think that this one could offer the short. But with that big bounce, I don't know about this level anymore. But XRP has been respecting levels pretty nicely. This front run was very unfortunate. I was very interested in shorting this one. Even though in general, I'm not a fan of shorting altcoins because they can always get crazy moves to the upside. But, any more questions? Thank you. Thank you, Habibi. Welcome. Welcome, brother. So I think we don't have any more questions. So with that said, I'll just do one final recap. Do you guys want one more recap? I don't think we need one, but we'll just make it, okay? That's the prediction. This bounce, I really like it going into the weekly close to give us a stronger weekly close. Again, if we go back on the weekly, let's hide everything. A lot of people are viewing this as very bearish. So if you get a bit of a stronger close, I think that this would confuse people. That's why I want to see a bounce into the weekly close, okay? But I don't like this low, and I would love to see the fill of this 4-hour imbalance. So bounce, drop ideally tomorrow, or it can be on Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Bounce back up towards this level if you break it. Well, this one is a very nice level, 109.5. Which could also offer short, of course, but then overall, I am looking for the liquidity below all of these lows to be taken out. So with that said, I hope that you all enjoyed this live, okay? I tried to keep it as simple as possible. Last week was a very profitable one. And let's hope that this week can be as profitable, okay? I will be waiting for my levels as usual, updating you inside the Discord as I've been doing throughout this week and trying to share the most accurate levels possible, okay? So again, I hope that you all enjoyed the live. Thank you all for your questions, and I will see you inside the Discord tomorrow. If anyone is new and wants to join our Discord, you can find the link either in the description of this video, or if you don't find it, just open our website, cryptil.com, and you will find our Discord server right there. So again, see you everyone. I wish you a great evening and a very profitable week of trading. Goodbye.